queued and could we put the Zoom link into our Instagram or like Facebook bio just because this email is taking a little bit longer to send out?
Yeah.
It's enough Instagram bio.
Sounds good.
And Facebook too.
Josh, are we streaming this to Facebook?
Huh?
He said, yeah.
Okay,
The
awesome.
link is on Facebook, yeah.
All right. Is it on YouTube as well? It's Facebook.
All right, everyone, we're at 90. I'm going to let them in. Let's start engaging with them right away in the chat.
All right.
Hi everyone, we're just waiting for everyone to join in. We'll be starting shortly. In the meantime, please introduce yourselves in the chat. Also, thank you to everyone who has muted themselves already. If you haven't, please do so now. Thank you. Hi everyone. For everyone who just joined, welcome. We will be starting shortly. Can you please fill in your name and just introduce yourself briefly in the chat? We would love to get to know more about you. And thank you to everyone who's muted yourselves. If you haven't yet, please do so. Thanks.
Hey guys, welcome to our launch event, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this Saturday. We cannot wait to introduce Developer Student Clubs to you. My name is Sarah.
And my name is Natalie.
And we are the co-media directors as well as the co-host for this event. Thank you for being here. Please keep your phones handy as we will be having a few interactive activities through Slido. Ask questions, participate as we have a $15 gift card and Google Platform credits to give away at random as a thank you for joining. Please make sure to ask questions and stay till the end. Thank you.
So this is us, and we would have loved to meet you in person, but since we are meeting over Zoom, we would love to get to know a little more about you. So please fill in this poll, just scan the QR code with your phones, and let's see where you're all from. This is amazing. So Vancouver is definitely in the lead, and we're excited to see, though, that there are very many people from all over the world.
We at DSC UBC aim to bridge the gap between theory and practice for student developers. We will be hosting various kinds of workshops, webinars, panel discussions, and events throughout the year to facilitate that.
Please do have a look at our promo video.
Hey guys, DSC is launching a new chapter on the UBC campus. Our goal is to bridge the gap between theory and practice.
DSC's vision is to empower students through software and digital technology.
Don't mute yourself, Natalie.
Welcome to DSC.
Visit our virtual booths on Imagine Day between 2 to 6 p.m. on the 8th of September and follow all our social media accounts on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook to be informed about our workshops, webinars, and competitions.
This amazing video was shot, conceptualized, and edited by our very own tech lead, Justin Chan. This was amazing. Thank you, Justin. I'm not sure where you are now, but thank you. So now we would like to introduce our tech-savvy team lead, Gagan Bhatia, who is responsible for bringing DSC to UBC. Gagan is majoring in ECE and is our go-to guy for knock-knock jokes. Wave wherever you are, I'm not sure.
Hey guys, it's great to see you here.
Yes. So please note that the QR codes on these slides are for our LinkedIn posts or our LinkedIn connection. So please, we would love to connect with you. Go ahead and scan it, and yeah.
Now, I would love to introduce our wonderful Vice President, Ayan Das, who's majoring in Comp Sci and has a passion for football and pasta. Ayan, please say hi to everybody.
Hey everyone.
Guys, hit him up for the best pasta recipe. Seriously, go for it. Next, we have our talented project manager, Arya Subramaniam, who's in her third year at UBC, studying computer engineering. You can catch her at the theater or binge watching Netflix when she's not hard at work.
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you all.
This is our amazing team. If you would like to learn more about us, do visit our website. And now I will ask Gagan, Arya, and Ayan to tell us more about DSC and what we do.
Thank you so much, Natalie and Sarah. That was a wonderful introduction. I'm blessed to be a DSC lead, and let's actually talk about what DSC is here and what we're actually about. DSC As you can see, as we already mentioned, DSC bridges the gap between theory and practical application for student developers. And I believe our motto is very important for all of us. We are actually part of the Google Developers ecosystem. So we are the Developer Student Club, and Google Developers also do have the Google Developers group, where all the tech leaders, all the tech experts get together and have events and organize similar events as us. And in those Google Developers groups, there are certain Google Developer experts who are expert in their field and have an in-depth knowledge about all the Google technologies and all the technologies in general. So just hit them up. You guys can find the links on our Instagram and on our website as well. So just hit them up. And finally, we have the Women Tech Makers, which is a community of all the women leaders from Vancouver and from around the world. Is there an echo for any of you guys? Okay, great. So how did actually DSC start and why did it start? I think that's a question that a lot of you guys might be wondering. So DSC was launched in 2017 as a pilot project in India to solve a lot of problems that students were facing. One of the most important problems that students were facing was to get a good job. And one of the most important things and that we need on a resume are projects and skills. But a lot of things that we actually learn in school are not actually directly applicable to our jobs and what we actually end up doing. So DSC bridges the gap between theory and we are powered by Google Developers. We are one of 140 DSCs in North America and one of 1,100 universities across the globe who are part of this initiative. And we are proud to present DSC to UBC. This is a map of all the DSCs that we have actually on and around the world. What are DSC's initiatives? Like what do we actually set out to do? Here are the 4 major things that we actually plan to do and we are actually on the lookout for. Our most important one, as I already mentioned, to learn new skills. And not just learning skills, we do learn a lot of things in our classes as well. And we meet a lot of people and we learn a lot of new things daily. But what's actually most important is that we get the opportunity to apply those skills. And that is our second point. We provide students the right opportunity to build real solutions that can help the local community. And not just the local community of Vancouver or in Canada in general. Any problem that we face around the world, we are looking to solve it. And just by after learning new skills and opportunity and like building good projects, we also provide the opportunity to demo those projects and meet new people and build our network. And that network is not just related to Google, tech leaders from Google or Facebook or any of the FNAC companies. We are all the tech leaders from around the world will be invited to have a chat with all of you guys. And finally, our workshops will help you and guide you through all of these things. And now I'd actually like to invite Arya to guide us through how our workshops and how we can learn new skills and build good projects.
Thanks, Kakan. Now that you've gotten a feel of what Google DSCs are, let me give you an introduction to what we can offer you as a club and other resources that general members will have access to. So we are going to offer a variety of technical as well as non-technical workshops in the form of online seminars and webinars. Unfortunately, all our proceedings will be online for term 2 as well as term 1 due to COVID-19. And we will definitely have an emphasis on Google technologies. Our goal is to engage and educate beginners and experts. And so we will cover a range of topics from software fundamentals to advanced subjects as well. Some examples of technical topics that we plan to cover are GitHub, Google Cloud, Google Analytics, Android, Firebase, and TensorFlow. Additionally, we are motivated to help you build your knowledge on the software industry through networking events and non-technical discussion topics as well, such as why should I choose computer science, or how can I build my resume, and product design and management as well. Another platform that you have access to through our club is Google Cloud Study Jams. So Google Cloud Study Jam is a community-led 3-hour-long workshop series run by students just like us. You will be able to get official hands-on training at no cost on a wide range of topics and technologies that are available on the Google Cloud platform, such as machine learning APIs, cloud architecture, data engineering, etc. It's based on the Quick Labs platform, which you can obtain for free by participating in Google Cloud Study Jams. And participants of these workshops on completing the labs and tutorials will be able to gain badges, which can then contribute to certifications such as Coursera certifications, which you can obtain if you do collect enough badges. And additionally, you can gain additional access to Quick Labs if you do gain these badges as well. Finally, you will get the opportunity to meet like-minded people, to build your community, and to learn more about software. Google Quick Labs is a platform through which developers, IT professionals, as well as learners with various levels of expertise can gain real hands-on experience through online step-by-step labs conducted by Google developers. You will have access to over 400 labs and tutorials on various discussion topics, ranging from machine learning to even app and chatbot development. You can also compete in weekly speedruns, which will be posted on Quick Labs social media. Speedruns are basically coding challenges. If you complete certain coding challenges and produce the best program, which is the fastest or the most efficient, you will have the opportunity to gain some exciting prizes. I'm sure that all of us utilize at least one Google technology or Google product on a daily basis. And Google in turn utilizes all these technologies that we've been discussing to build and improve our favorite platforms and features. Whether it be Google Translate, which gives you an instant and accurate translation over a whopping 108 languages, or Google's Vision AI, which utilizes computer vision as well as machine learning to classify and understand images. The contribution and ideas of students like you inspire Google products. And so DSC is your opportunity to take a deep dive into these technologies that we've grown to love and that are so widely used in the industry and in a personal sense as well.
Hey everyone, so I'm going to talk a little bit about our structure and what our year is going to look like. So we've kind of split everything into both terms. So our term one is really going to help us bridge the gap between theory and application. And how we're going to do that is by having events like workshops and having guest speakers come in like today to deliver some very cool content. And then you guys are going to have the opportunity to apply that content through our hackathons and competitions that will run throughout the term. And that's one way how you guys are going to pick up some cool skills. And secondly, when we're in term two, you guys are going to have the opportunity to actually demonstrate that knowledge. So we still will have events that will encourage you to learn and apply that knowledge, but we're also going to have bigger opportunities for you to demonstrate what you've learned. And we're going to do that through a big project competition that we're going to host, out of which you guys will get into teams of 4 and build a cool project that tackles an issue our community faces. After which, we will select the winners, and the winners will represent UBC at the whole Global Solution Challenge. And more about that in a second. You can also expect bigger hackathons and competitions from us in term 2. So more about the Solution Challenge. So the whole point is to use technology to solve a problem in a local community. And it's a great opportunity to collaborate with like-minded individuals, network with industry professionals and other students, and, of course, pick up new skills. And again, the top 10 winning teams are selected from around the world, and last year they were invited to the Google campus. However, as everything's online, this may look a little different this year, and we're going to have more details on that later. And of course, everyone gets school participation prizes and certificates.
Thank you, Gagan, Ayan, and Arya for this presentation. Now we would love to hear your opinions and ideas. Please fill in this poll with the QR code on the left side and let us know which problems you would like to see DSC solve within the Vancouver community. We would love to hear your ideas, so please do join. All you have to do is open your camera app and scan this QR code. That sounds good. Any more ideas? Amazing. These are all amazing ideas. Can we have the poll open for a few more minutes? Oh, housing is really popping out. This is really amazing to see. Are there any more last minute ideas?
Am I using light mode?
Light mode where?
Like anywhere.
Zoom? Tell World Hunger, what the frick?
Corona tracker.
All right, so we're gonna go on. These are all amazing ideas. Now, coming to the question of the hour, why should you join DSC? One of the many reasons is because our amazing team is looking to create a community of like-minded people within the Vancouver community, and we hope that you will be one of them.
So we're looking for individuals with a strong willingness to learn, create, and give back to the community. There's no membership fee. And since DSC is a collaborative space, we welcome students from all majors and experience levels to join. Since we're powered by Google developers, special perks include Google Merch all year long. We're not sure how that will pan out because of COVID-19, but we do have a lot in store for you guys. However, the best part of being a member of DSC is the fact that you will have the experience to work on a real project, add to your skill set, and make your resume stand out. Additionally, you will have Google access for you to explore and learn various technologies. Finally, you will be the first batch of students who will be a part of DSC at UBC and will be representing UBC at a global level among 1,100 DSC clubs across the world. We now have a couple minutes for general questions about DSC, so please do send them in.
All right, these are all amazing reasons to join, but before we do the general questions, yes, we're gonna invite Deborah Zhang, a UBC Sauder student of 2020 graduate, to speak. She majored in business and computer science and has interned at Triple It in San Francisco, SAP Concur in Seattle, and SAP in Vancouver. She is currently working as the Associate Product Manager at Google. Isn't that really exciting? Deborah, please come to the stage and let's hear more about you.
Hey there, I'm not sure if you can see me or hear me and if I should share my screen or anything like that, but so nice to meet all of you and I'm so excited for your year ahead. I graduated from UBC just this May actually, and I was here for 5.5 years. I did quite a bit of co-op. I did 2 8-month terms, both in software engineering. And then I did a few more in the summer in the States. And so I'm happy to take any questions or help you on your journey developing with tools that Google's made. And I'm very excited for all of you. Not sure, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
So I'm actually going to go on to the next slide. And here you can fill in your questions that you have for Deborah.
Yeah, happy to talk about anything related to the Student Developer Club or product
And
management, yeah, anything.
Deborah, before we actually get started with others' question, I personally, as DSC,
Sure.
question for you.
Mhm.
We actually love to know about your experience as a program manager at Google. So can you share a bit about your experience?
Sure. So yeah, go ahead. I cut you off.
Yeah, so, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so my official title is Associate Product Manager. And what that is it is a 2-year rotational program at Google with around 40 people worldwide. I'm particularly in the Bay Area, so there's around 20 of us here, but other students are from the US, UK, New Zealand, Zurich, all around the world. And what we try to do is build a product from the bottom up. And to do that, we do need the technical skills from computer science to understand engineering requirements, design trade-offs, the business side of things to understand how that aligns with engineering, and of course, other things like marketing, legal, UX, UI, just to build things from ideation until launch and landing. So yes, I'm in my first rotation now working on Chrome OS, which is the operating system of Chromebooks. You might think of like Linux or Windows when you think of other operating systems. So we're building it so that it's more intuitive for not just enterprise users, but also students and edu users as well.
Awesome.
Does that help?
For sure. Now we have a lot of questions here and we would love for you to answer some of them.
Sure.
Let's just take a look.
Sure. Would you like me to pick, or you can go ahead and pick too?
No, you can go ahead and pick. I think it's best that you know what you're going to be talking about. So why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, sure. So let's take this one. What was your experience like as a Bucks student? So I think Bucks is a really interesting intersection of business and technology, where half of your courses are mostly computer science and the other half are business. So you really get to see what it's like to build from an engineering perspective, but on the business side, how that would benefit the business. Like, are you increasing revenue? Are you looking for customer retention? A lot of factors that go into why you're building that product. I found that it was super well-rounded and I really enjoyed my time there. I think extracurriculars really gave me so much learning for industry experience that I wouldn't have gotten inside the classroom. For example, if I was taking something like Comp Sci 210, I now have fundamental knowledge of Java or Android development, but I don't have real life applicability and my programming skills aren't that strong. So anything outside of school, a side project, like something the Student Developer Club encourages, as well as like hackathons, co-op where you're actually working on a product for months at a time, or anything that's external like a club, really helped round out those skills. So then I focused on programming outside of the classroom. And I found that with a supplemental experience like that, with classroom knowledge, my education was really well-rounded. Is there anything else that could help within that aspect or dive deeper in? You guys can feel free to put stuff in the chat and I'll keep that chat window open. So I'll take the next question. Is it for Slido the highlighted one is the most looked for?
I'm not sure, but why don't you go ahead and answer that one anyway?
Sure. How did I find my first internship? So my first one was technically in finance, and I have to say that just wasn't my jam. I'm not super traditional. I really do like flexibility, innovation, things that aren't really cemented in industry. So that was technically my first internship, but I'm sure you're more interested in hearing something tech related. So my first tech one was a quality assurance co-op, and I was in my second year. I didn't really have any programming experience. So what I really honed in on was my side projects. I was trying to find transferable skills for the role that I was applying to through a side project. So for example, a quality assurance person might need to test code. They might need to develop code. They might need languages. And to prepare for that, I would do a lot of side projects and hackathons to really hone in on those programming skills. And then I would also prepare for the interview using resources like, of course, you've probably heard of Cracking the Coding Interview, which is like the holy Bible of all coding interviews, as well as LeetCode. There's HackerRank, a lot of great resources for software engineering type internships. So if I were to really summarize what I did to find my first internship, it'd be apply vigorously. Second is hone in on the skills and focus on the learning aspects through extracurriculars. And third, practice for the interview using all the external resources you can find online. And I didn't really rely too much on school resources at that point.
All right, let's scroll down now. We have a few more
Sure.
questions here. Do you want to answer any of these or?
Sure. Let's see, I'm going to move my window here. Please tell us about your experience working in San Francisco versus in Vancouver. Let's take that one. So yes, I definitely did work in Vancouver for a really long time. I did both of my 8-month co-ops in Vancouver. I'll talk about a few things regarding maybe the tech industry between the two cities. I'll talk about the role itself, and then I'll talk about the culture maybe of the companies. So let's start with the city. San Francisco is notoriously known as being a tech hub. I'm not sure if you've heard of Silicon Valley, but it's where a lot of tech innovation happens, and a lot of headquarters such as Uber, Airbnb, the list goes on, Pinterest, all the big startups you've heard about. And then, so with that, you definitely are surrounded by some brilliant people, PhD students, people that go to Ivy schools. People are very competent and very passionate about tech. There's a lot of startup culture there. Vancouver, I think that while it's also West Coast, has a better work-life balance. People are more centered and value both work and both other things in life, such as like cooking and hobbies and interests. So I would say the other one is more work-orientated, very tech-orientated. The role itself, I think, a US internship definitely focuses on a summer project. So you only have 3 months to grind something from the start to finish and launch something, hopefully. But in Vancouver, it's just like you're working on a team. You probably take on something small like bugs and then work your way up to build credibility. And then finally, the culture there, San Francisco, I would say it was, as long as you get your work done, it's really flexible on times. But in Vancouver, I would say my team, which was the same company, it was stay at your desk from 9 to 5. Your manager's a little bit more strict on you, but in San Francisco, I had a lot of autonomy. I think I saw a red arrow for a question, if I'm not tripping or anything. Was there one? Was it tips for building your resume for Google?
I think there was one, but it might have been a mistake.
No, I think it was that one.
The number of likes on the right-hand side can just maybe indicate.
Oh, I see the likes. So, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
I actually love to know tips to build a resume.
Sure. Yeah. So for Google specifically, I'm assuming, is that kind of right? I would say that if I were to really think about it, it's like any other posting where you really want to be tailoring your resume directly to the posting. So an example would be if you're applying for a software engineering role and it's looking for a Java developer, it's looking for maybe object-oriented programming, you really want to showcase that on your resume and show that your experiences reflect what they're looking for. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of something called application tracking systems, APS. It's a HR system which basically filters all resumes, preferably in a traditional format like a PDF or Word document, a page document, and it uses filters to take out words that they're looking for. So the more relevant matches they'll probably screen you for. So that's why it's super, super important to make sure that your words are directly matched to the job posting. So for larger companies, they definitely do that, and it's called Boolean searching. But I would say for Google, the difference for this company is there's definitely a lot of applicants. Like there's definitely so many people that apply for a posting that you really want to put in the effort to make sure that your job posting and your resume really align. And if you put in the extra effort and you really have those experiences lining up, you definitely stand out. You're able to be ahead of maybe the thousands of people that are applying. So that is generally just super important, but I think even more important for large tech companies. Does that help, or is there any follow-up you'd like? Or yeah, feel free to post it in the chat and I can take a look too.
You actually did, you built a lot of personal projects, like to get your first internships, and like how did you go about doing that?
Yeah. So the question is, how did I go about tackling my first personal projects? Honestly, I was really scared to do so. I started coding when I was 17 and I didn't do it in high school. So I was really intimidated by all those smart, brilliant people in the class. So I started really small and I took my time. I didn't rush it. I did feel a lot of peer pressure to excel really quickly. But I took it like, first, I'm going to do a bit of front end. I've never had any experience with JavaScript or CSS or HTML. So let's go ahead and tackle that with a simple website. And, I'll Google every single thing. I'll take a look at Stack Overflow religiously until I can figure it out. Or I'll follow a tutorial that have side project ideas, like how to create a Chrome extension in 4 steps. And then I'll be guided through that. And as long as I'm learning, I'm not going to push myself too much, but just increasing your frequency of how much you touch code and the consistency of which you work on your project really helps. And it really also helps to find something you're really passionate about. So that's also an awesome aspect of this club. It's UBC orientated, Vancouver problem orientated. Cool. Does that help?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess I can go in. Oh, yeah. I guess I can go in. Sorry, I feel like I'm cutting out a bit, but I guess I can go in priority of how many likes there are per question.
Yeah, sure, that works.
Okay, so how hard is it to get a job at Google? Prior to getting this offer, I'm going to be totally transparent. It was really hard. I had so many rejections and so many failures throughout my life. Many times when you see LinkedIn posting, when you see someone with a job posting, they have been through hell and back just to get that job. And that case was not different for a large tech company. For this one in particular, I think there were 8 rounds, but prior to that, I got rejected from so many other places. And I really was like, I'll just do my best. If it's not good enough, I'll try again another time. But it is really competitive out there. I would do your best to A, build your network, B, focus on the learning, C, actually prepare for the interview. So there's, depending on the interview, if it's software engineering or PM, there's different interview prep things that you need to do. And I would really go hard on that. But I think overall, don't be too hard on yourself. I personally was myself, and I don't think looking back that was the right way, because we have 50 years to work in the future, and what's another year of learning more and then trying again. There's no rush or anything like that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that answer. I can definitely relate to that one as well, and I think everyone that's gone through co-op season, and with co-op season coming now too, and with COVID and the unusual job situation, it's tough out there, but hopefully we can stay motivated. And thank you for those words.
Yeah, of course. So many of my friends have been laid off. So many of them are having trouble finding jobs. It's not just you. I was really lucky that I found this right before COVID hit. But don't be too hard on yourself. This has only gotten harder because of the job market as is. So definitely take care of yourself. That's honestly the most important thing.
Definitely.
I guess we can look at this question. If you were to go back, would you take pure CS, or did you find that your business courses were useful too? So I think personally, I'll talk about my goal throughout university, and then how that pivoted to product management and how that question relates back to that. So in university, I really wanted to be more technical. I didn't code until I was 17, so I felt a lot of times like I need to be a really solid software engineer. I really need to know my code so well. And at that time, I did think pure CS was the way to go if software engineering was my path, because there's a lot of things I think it was HCI, a lot of different kind of AI classes that I couldn't take because of math prereqs. But then I think I realized that a lot of my interests align with collaborating with people, learning about the business of why we're doing what we're doing, and then also looking at the engineering. So the combination of the two in the Bucks program does exactly that. I wouldn't go back now if I were to do it all again to do pure CS, because I think my personal goal was product management, which is the intersection of business, tech, and UI UX. So I think that fits really well. But if I think were to go with my previous goal, which was software engineering, I would take a look more at pure CS, but that's just me personally, and everyone has different goals.
Awesome.
Cool, so I guess I can tackle another one, and feel free to tell me if nothing's useful or if anything is you want me to touch deeper on, whatever is valuable for your time. So the next one is, how did you manage all of your courses and course load? I'm 3 days in and I already feel like I'm behind. Honestly, reading that just brought me right back to school. I think with a lot of things, you get really busy, and I've definitely been in your shoes. I've seen friends in your shoes where you're just so swamped with balancing your school stuff, your extracurricular stuff that everyone's telling you to do all the time, job searching, your friends, sleeping. It's just so much. But I think the really big key thing to take away from when you're really busy is to prioritize and see where you want to go. Be a little far looking into where you want your goals to be. So for example, I'm in exam season. My goal probably is just to like do my classes and do my exams well, and I'm not going to be rigorously job searching. I probably personally wouldn't even be sleeping that much anymore. I would still prioritize it, but not my like 10 hours I love to get. And probably be doing a lot less of that. I wouldn't be hanging out with friends anymore, but now it's the summer. I'm not going to be prioritizing schoolwork. That's something I could do later, but maybe I'll do friends, I'll do sleep, I'll do side projects. Now it's job recruiting season. I'm going to stop prioritizing all of my classes completely so that I'm literally always studying, trying to get that like super high grade. I'm going to be trying to recruit. I'll be doing lead code, or I'll be doing cracking the PM interview, depending on what I'm looking for. And I'll be splitting my time. And I think a really good tip that I learned recently from my manager is taking a look at your calendar or what you're spending your time doing and seeing what portions of that align with your goals. So if I'm spending 90% of my time working, but let's say I want to do really well in school, is that reflecting my goal? And just having your time align with your goals there, I think is just the key to prioritization when you're super busy. Because I mean, realistically, you can't always be doing every little quiz to perfection and every little tiny assignment to perfection. You could spend 5 hours doing it, but does that align with where you want to be? And I think it's just a conversation you might want to have with yourself and friends and all of that. Okay, now let me know if you want me to follow up in any of these. Tips for applying for co-op in Bucks, science, or solder co-op. So I don't know if it's changed, but when I was in Bucks, if you were in one stream, you were in the other stream. So if I got into the computer science stream of co-op, I would be in the business side as well. So I would just have to apply for one. I personally applied for, oh, this is tips, tips for co-op in Bucks. I personally really think it kind of goes back to where I wanted to be at the time, and I think you can look at where your goals are. So I wanted to go into software engineering to be more technical because I was lacking that. So I chose computer science. But for example, if you definitely know you want to be a business analyst, a MIS person, maybe take a look at a solder co-op. With the Bucks program, if you get into one, you get into the other. So it's fine if you don't have a complete direction you want to go in. I mean, I literally tried everything just to see if I like something, if I didn't like something. Take your time in going through both if you'd like, totally no pressure. But I think science or solder co-op, that question depends on where you want to be.
Cool. I had a quick question actually. How different do you think networking for like a more business role is from networking from like a tech role? Are there any differences at all? Do you think if there are any?
Yeah. So the question is, are there differences when it comes to networking in business or tech roles? And I think no. I like personally, personally, this is a total personal opinion, but when you're networking, I think the most organic, genuine relationships are always the best. So if you're building those for a business role or a tech role, if you're able to stay genuine with your recruiter, just stay in touch, it's very similar. You approach them, you stay in touch with them, you're genuine, you're not just asking for something all the time. It's a two-way street. Being respectful of their time, being respectful of their constraints and whatnot, I think goes for any kind of role. And I don't think there's a huge difference as long as you keep that in mind.
Well, thank you. That's really interesting to know.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's do one more question from the list.
Questions, and then we can continue.
Sure.
Why don't we tackle either what is your biggest advice for someone who wants to work at Google, or okay, some more questions just popped up, or a US company's hesitant to hire someone from Canada. Do you want to tackle both of those and then we can continue?
I'll tackle the visa one first, because I think that's not really that well known unless you're talking with your echo chambers. It is really tough to get a visa, especially right now during COVID, to work in the States. And I know this because I've been rejected a million times because I have a Canadian citizenship. And what happens is, for a visa to go through like a J1, a company does need to pay an additional fee. And a lot of times if people can hire locally, they can save a couple of grand from doing so. So usually if you're looking for sponsorships, it would have to be from a larger company, but don't stop trying. Even if it happens, I remember there'd be final rounds where they got canceled because they found out I'm Canadian, even though I did like 6 rounds before. It is really tough, but just be forthright with your HR recruiter and just let them know so that you don't get your time wasted and they don't spend too much time interviewing you. And then, did you personally notice the pay gap between being in Silicon Valley or other major tech cities like Seattle and a city like Vancouver? Yeah, there is a pay gap. I think different cities in the world have different rates for developers and for different roles, PM roles, and all of that jazz. But then you have to also take into account tax and living expenses. So Silicon Valley is in the state of California. There's a state tax as well as federal tax. Seattle, there's no state tax, but there's federal tax. And then Vancouver, there's quite a bit of tax, provincial tax, as well as our federal tax. And so I would definitely just take a look at sites to look at the wage on Glassdoor, preferably. That's a really reliable source, the living expenses, and then tax rates. What is your biggest advice for someone who wants to work at Google? I know a lot of people, including myself, have really tried for roles at Google before. I got rejected, I think, from the SWE internship second round. Didn't make it past there was like a gardening problem that they had me do. I had to design a garden bomb. I didn't pass that, but I don't think that stopped me from trying. And I think if you really, really want something, you can just keep getting better, focus on your learning, focus on being better, and just keep trying. And honestly, I think that's really the key and common denominator between my coworkers and I. We talk about our paths a lot and, you know, how we got to where we are and what our journey was like. And it's full of rejection, but it's a lot of consistent hard work. And a good support network goes a long way.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Gagan, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I'd actually like to thank Deborah for being here. I know it's a Saturday morning, just talking to all of us. I'd like to thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you guys for having me.
And do you guys have any other questions related to DSC or any other questions you want to ask Deborah or anything else?
Yes, please feel free to use the same Slido link, and then it can be about anything. We're opening the floor to questions about DSC, about Deborah, anything. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Good luck with the year.
Thank you so much.
Kevin just submitted, does it matter if I don't have any coding background? Would you like to tackle that one? Or is that more of a question for all of us? Kevin, would you like to elaborate?
Yeah, sure. For DSC, we do not actually get DSC is open for everyone on the campus, and like anyone who's interested. So what we care about is passion to learn and interest to learn. That is what we care more about. And as we mentioned, like we'll be providing with the right opportunities and the skills and the platform to build your skills. So I believe the will to learn is the most important thing.
Awesome.
And Deborah can elaborate on that, like how important it is to just having that passion to learn and just like meeting like new things. And I think even Deborah can elaborate on that.
Yeah, to add on to that, totally really good point. I think learning is honestly what I optimized for in university, and it goes a long way. Like, although all of my co-ops don't have the exact same title, it's because I learned something from that co-op. For example, my first tech internship in QnA, I learned I'm not really into breaking code and being super meticulous with integration and unit tests, but I do like the tech industry. So I tried full stack engineering, was like, okay, well, I like backend engineering, but I actually don't like anything web related. And then I tried backend, I was like, yes, this is great. But my manager's like, you should try one more before you leave. So that was the PM bit. And I learned I do love talking to people. I love meeting everyone. I love working together. So if I combine that with coding, that is the sweet spot. And just learning about yourself and learning new skills and technologies will never be a waste of your time.
And if I can just add on to that, so we will be having a range of workshops and webinars which will cater to students with different expertise levels. So even if you've never had an introduction to software or you've just like never tried coding before, this space, like our club, is a perfect space for you to get the opportunity and the resources to kickstart your journey in development. We will be having beginner based workshops, and we will be providing you with access to other resources through which you can learn the fundamentals and really get started in programming and development.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you so much, Deborah, for being here and giving us your time. Thanks so much. I know you might.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Happy to help. Yeah, good luck with everything. Super excited for you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So now we would like to answer a few questions about DSC. So we received this one from Anonymous. Hi, this is for everyone. How much will DSC focus on the business management aspects of the products that we will be producing for the community? Does anyone want to
take that? Yeah. So, do you want to take it? I'll take it. Okay. So basically, how we mentioned around second term when we were all working on our projects, you know, a big part of that is going to be how you market that and how you market that, how you manage it. So when you're essentially working in your mini teams, you're gonna have to work a lot on the management side as well. So that's more of the hands-on part. We will be having more workshops, possibly from other from more product managers who can talk more about like how their experiences and how they help, similar to today. And really soon we're going to be sending out a survey of possible topics that you'd like to see. So if this is something you'd really like to see and for us to go in depth to, please let us know. And we're 100% gonna put another workshop on the books relating to whatever topics you guys want to hear about.
Amazing. Let's see. Let's tackle this question. Does contributing to open source projects also look good on a resume, or should we focus on full-blown projects? Does anyone, or was that for Deborah?
I think that was for Deborah, but we can just let's try and answer the questions about us, about the club. So how do we keep aware of the events the club runs? So we're on all forms of social media. If you give us a couple of seconds, we'll on the chat post about we'll have links to all our social media. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Very soon we're gonna be on Discord as well. And this is a great opportunity for everyone to network, and you guys can all put your LinkedIns on there and talk to each other, possibly make teams for future projects and other collaborating events that we have later on. So that's one way. Secondly, since you were already signed up to be a general member with us, we already have your email. So whenever we do have a workshop, you will be made aware of.
And we have a newsletter as well. You should have already received the first copy of the newsletter. So everybody who's a general member will receive this regularly with any updates on new events that are coming out or other resources that we want to share with you all.
And yeah, actually to answer the question that how are we going to pick the teams, I believe that we'll be making teams for the projects that we'll be building as DSC, and projects can be just for fun, or we'll be contributing projects to this DSC solution challenge as well, as I mentioned during the presentation. So how we'll be making the teams is you guys can join the Discord server, and where we'll be discussing different ideas and like different stuff that we'll be building as DSC and as clubs, like some basic ideas of like some personal projects that we have built in the past. Some good, and I've seen that all of you guys have some great ideas that we can implement and build on. So I believe that the best way to build a team is all the teammates agree on the same idea. And if they connect at the same idea, that's the best way to build a team. And I think like all of you guys might agree. So you guys can actually get together and talk on the Discord server and then build your own teams.
Let's answer, let's say 2 more questions and then
okay.
I think we have finished. Let's see.
All right, so someone mentioned something about the Discord server. That's something we're making right now. And in the next 3-4 days, you will have an invite link in your emails for the Discord server. So if you signed up to be a general member and haven't gotten a newsletter, it's possibly because we sent the newsletter before you signed up. So you will definitely get our next one if you have signed up. If you just want to make sure, we'll put our email on the chat and you can just email us and we'll double check to see if you're on our mailing list. If not, we can add you.
Please keep following our social media. We post regular updates about all our events continuously on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere. So just stay in touch, interact, engage. We post a lot of FAQs. We'll also be having, some spotlight events and some informational tidbits and TED Talks. So just keep engaged and keep following us.
Awesome. All right. So the Google form question right here. Could you please share the Google Forms link in the chat? So we're actually going to end the event here, and I'm going to go on to the next slide. So before you leave, we welcome you to start brainstorming about ideas you would like to see discussed. And this QR code on this slide will actually bring you to a form that we welcome you to fill out. You'll see some possible projects that we may be working on there as well. So if you haven't signed up to be a general member, please do so. And you can do so by scanning this QR code as well. And as soon as you become a general member, you will shortly receive a Google form where you will be able to put your ideas, which is also this one. So this is the perfect Google form to fill out. So we thank you so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to message us on our social media channels, as Sarah mentioned. We hope that you take care, stay safe, and happy developing.
We actually have a surprise for all of you guys. We have a giveaway that Sarah will be talking more about. And Sarah, why don't you tell us about the giveaway?
Okay, so we're going to be picking 3 lucky members from the audience. And each of y'all will be receiving $15 in Google Credit platform for the cloud, Google Cloud, and you can be using that toward anything. We will be DMing you on your social media, so ensure that you follow us and let you know more about how you can use that and who the winners are.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, you guys. It's been so nice to have you.
Thank you, Deborah, again. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, let's end the event.